and it's talking about the second woe. So, I've always leaned towards it being during the tribulation, but there is a chance some of this stuff overlaps. I'm going to leave that alone for now, but because here back in Revelation 8, the seventh seal is opened in verse 1, and then the seven angels start their trumpets. So when you get over to Revelation 11, it's the seventh trumpet right after the two witnesses are dead and raised up. Okay? So there's another earthquake at this point. So this looks like this must be right before the last 3 years. It looks like the two witnesses are the beginning of the tribulation. For the 1260 days. And that's the second woe, which means we're probably in the first woe. And I'm sorry I'm talking slow. This has been a really tough week or two. And the third woe starts when the seventh angel sounds. You can see that here, verse 14 and 15. So, yeah, I think I'm still going to stick with my original view on this. It looks like the two witnesses come out at the beginning of the tribulation, like right after all the calamity of the first 5 or 6 trumpets. During the sixth trumpet, actually, and then the seventh trumpet comes, and that's when basically the great tribulation starts. Unfortunately, Revelation 12 rewinds back to the rapture, and this is hard. This is the thing that's very hard about Revelation. Is just he's seeing all this in one vision and trying to get it all out, and it's almost impossible to do that in chronological order because of how much he's seen. And so it looks like Revelation 15 picks up with the Great Tribulation again. And then verse 16 is talking about pouring out the 7 vials of wrath upon the earth. So that's how hard it is to follow this timeline in Revelation. It starts and then stops and rewinds and then starts and picks up again, and it's tough. It's really tough. So after the 7 angels with the 7 vials, they said to him, "I'll show you the judgment of the great horde that sits upon many waters." Now that has to be America. So yeah, and I put a note there. It's like replaying number 3. It's just so hard to follow this timeline. It's hard. I mean, I can understand it to a pretty fair degree, but trying to explain it is really tough. And here's the 7 heads and 10 horns again. So, you know, it's a lot of rewinding. 17 is a great chapter that talks about America. And I don't know, it just amazes me that people who've studied this, like in seminary school, they can't see that. They just can't see it for some reason. They think it's Rome. It's just crazy. I don't know how Rome could be Babylon the Great and the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. Now that sounds like Hollywood. That sounds like New York City. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Strange word to use there. What are my notes? Oh, yeah, the blood drinking used to really bother me. Uh, the mentions of it in the Bible. Sounds very satanic, you know. And the angel said to me, wherefore did that? Why did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou saw was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth, there's that dwell on the earth phrase again, shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life. So the ones that wonder, that dwell on the earth, that see this beast and are admiring him, are not names found in the book of life. Okay, from the from the foundation of the world. See, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So it says that their names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. This is what makes me think it's a bunch of bad actors. Like this is what makes me think all these people that are so evil and you just can't understand it. It's literally their job because of statements like that. Whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And here's the 7 kings. And this is the one that it's funny. It could either start with Carter or it could start with Reagan. And the story almost works for both of those that follow. So, you know, I'm not going to go through it, but you start with Carter, who signed the peace agreement with Egypt, with Israel, which is now just broken. Israel is now sided with Iran, which makes the Psalms 83 valid now, which it wasn't valid a week ago, and now it is today. Psalms 83 war. So if you start with Reagan, you get to Trump. If you start with Carter, you get to Obama. So these people have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Okay? So the beast is yet another entity. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. That's Jesus. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. The waters which thou saw were where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So it's just, you know, this is the melting pot of the world. I think that's what that's talking about. And the 10 horns which thou saw upon the beast, these shall hate America. Okay, hate saying that word. And they shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So there it is. So the whole world hates America. All our politicians in charge right now hate America too. They all sold this out in the last 20, 30, 40 years. All of them. All of them. From the NAFTA thing back in the, I guess that was the 80s. Yeah, they sold this all out. All of them. And they go on TV and smile. It's amazing. For God has put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So God put it in their hearts to do this. and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast. Wow, see, there it is, right there, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou saw is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth. This is America. Revelation 17 is all about America. The battery's running low. I'm going to keep going here, though. So there's another angel. And he cried mightily with strong voice, saying, Babylon the great has fallen, has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of her wine of her wrath and fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are all waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. I don't know how anybody who studied the Bible in college or in seminary school could think this is Rome. To me, it's just insanity that they teach this stuff in churches. You can read this one time for yourself and see that there's no possible way this is Rome or the Vatican or anything like that. I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you not be partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. Okay, so basically that sounds like it's telling you to move from America or Rome, but it's actually a rapture verse. Let me see what my notes are. Okay, yeah, so when you retranslate some of the words, I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out from among her, my people, because you were not partakers of her sins, that you received not her plague. So it's basically a rapture verse when you actually change a couple of words to more accurate translations. That you be not partakers is it's more like because you are not partakers of her sins. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. So, reward her even as she has rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, in the cup of which she has filled to her double. How much she has glorified herself. I mean, this is America, and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow. I shall see no sorrow. Americans don't. Most of America hasn't had a bad day in their life. I mean, most people have never ever experienced anything like other countries have. We've been so abundant for so long, people think it can never happen here. See what this is saying here? For she says in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow, right? That's verse 7. Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. She shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord God who judges her. There it is, Revelation 18:8. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. That verse in the interlinear is, and will weep and will wail for her the kings of the earth, the ones with her having committed sexual immorality and having lived luxuriously, when they see the smoke of the burning of her. So the rest of the kings of the world will be sad to see America go, because they loved it here. And it repeats, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city of Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour thy judgment is come. And this goes along with, Matthew 24, where everybody's going to be eating and drinking and marrying when all this happens. Nobody's going to have any clue. And it also, in Matthew 24, combines the rapture with it, which we did have a hint of it up here. This is a sort of hidden rapture verse here in verse 4, 18:4, because it's translated in a way that you read it, it's telling you to leave America, like basically leave her before this. That's the way I read it first a long time ago. But as going through all the words, I realized it was a hidden rapture verse. Well, let me see what this is. Um, and at that, this is I got a reference here from the hidden rapture verse note to Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which stands for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even unto that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. All right, so it's saying, Daniel 12:1 is a rapture verse as well. And it's saying it's going to happen right before the time of trouble, like never seen before. I have other notes here too. Oh yeah, this is sort of a different translation. Come out from among her, my people, because you be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Let's see if there's any other ones. Thought there was only 2 notes there. Sorry. So we kind of stopped at verse 10 here, talking about the second reference to it happening in 1 hour. It says here the plagues will come in 1 day. It says here in 1 hour, thy judgment has come. And it goes on, this goes on, talking about all the things in America. All the things. You can read all this, it just kind of goes on and on forever. Back to verse 17 here, it repeats the 1 hour great riches have come to naught. So a lot of these ships it's talking about here were, on their way here delivering things, and they saw America was burning when they got here, and they were standing off, and they saw the smoke of her burning. Okay. And they cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? There's no place in the world like America. We've been the consumers of all the things from around the world for the last, at least since World War II. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, where we made rich of all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. So all the ships that witnessed this event are very sad. All the people on the ships that are watching it from the offshore. Now, it says here, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So this is talking about an angel throwing a great millstone into the sea. So this sounds like what they're doing is timing the nuclear event with the asteroid impact, which also has the rapture event tied in as well. So it's been a while since I've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb, but it looks like all 3 events happen around the same time. It looks like it is the rapture, the nuclear attack, and the angel throwing the stone into the sea to sort of wipe away the evidence. Because the wave that they're talking about, this wave might go inland hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. But this is one stone. I think this stone is on the Atlantic coast. So you guys can read the rest here if you want me to pause for a second. One of the verses here is 23. I'll read this. And the light of the candle shall shine no more in all, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more in all of the. Now the bridegroom and the bride is Jesus and the raptured people. Okay. For thy merchants were great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. So sorceries is actually pharmakia. And I don't have any notes on that, but we'll double check real quick. And you can see down here, G531 is pharmakia. And so basically, we know that the origin of most of those pharmakias in 2021, all basically came from here originally. And it says, by thy sorceries of you were deceived all of the nations. And who calls himself the father of it? Have to be very clever to not say, very careful to not say certain words. You know how it is now. There is no free speech. So that's chapter 17 and 18. Just kind of led into it, okay? And then verse 19 is another period. So this is talking about what follows after that, and I'll leave that for another time, because I think Revelation 19, 20, and 21 all kind of go together. I think it goes up to 22. Yeah. All right, guys. This has been helpful to me to go over it like this. Trying to explain it helps me rethink it. And it's very, very, very tough book. It really is. So thank you so much if you made it this far. Sorry it's so long. And God bless. And, I think we're well underway to seeing some major, what's the word I'm looking for here? The escalation is continuing since April 8th, and I think we're on our way to seeing things that just, once they start heading down that path financially, Israel's about to make a decision on what they're going to do with their battles that they're surrounded by. They have seven armies on 5 fronts surrounding them right now. So I think it's all going to go down a path that there's no turning back. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, guys. It was 103 in the shade 3 hours ago. It's just so you know, I'm wiped out. But I'm trying to get a message out. There's not much out there. I'm subscribed to hundreds of channels, and there's really nothing to watch. So, God bless you all. Really appreciate some of your nice comments and things people say to me. I just want out of here. I hate this place. I'm surrounded by a small group of evil people in my world, and it just can't avoid it. And then I look out to the big picture of what the world, what's going on, and it's just there's just no hope. And all my Christian friends have their heads in the sand. Really, they're all pretending everything's fine. Hasn't been fine for a long time, and it's getting really bad really fast. I'm gonna go now. God bless, guys. Hopefully this sound came through. Good night.